Good evening, everyone. This is Gil at Camp Patton Family Compound. With me this evening, I have Tammy at Rebel Canners, and sneaking in the back door, I can see down here in the basement, we have Mark at Chef Tech. It is time for the Monday Night Fireside Chat, and tonight's topic is canning wild mushrooms. And let's take us over here and bring Mark up. There he is.
Oh, hello.
We were worried that you went and ate those mushrooms off that black walnut there, Mark.
Yeah.
There. Wait. Oh, did you see that? There's dragons flying in my garage here.
Yeah.
No, I
Don't eat anything off the black walnut. No.
No, I was actually finishing up my corned beef, cabbage, baked potato dinner and putting it all away.
Okay.
So,
Just now,
nice
here
rice.
on Camp Patton, I got a courtesy Ford Lincoln ad just popped up now, and over on Grayman, I got a what is that? Fitness trainer ad popped up. I went in and I checked beforehand, and it was supposed to be no ads.
I got one on Tammy's during the countdown.
Yeah,
Perfect timing.
yeah.
Whatever,
That's why the
I started
countdown
just
is
in the
there.
nick of time.
Oh,
That's
this is what's weird. That was a 5-minute countdown. When it hit 0, the little up in the corner here, up over here for me, is it says live, and right now it says 8 minutes and 15, 16, 7. It hit 6 minutes. And wait a minute. I only been live for 5 minutes because that's the countdown. Somehow it picked up an extra minute of live. I go, what? Either the countdown's running slower than it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's weird if I have it on my computer and on my phone. Speaking of phones, at the same time, they start at the same time, but after about 3 minutes, they're about 20 seconds apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say hi to everybody here. First one in was Walt Rogers, then Phelan Clan Wolf, then Troop 1351, Mother Earth Garden Club, then Penny Ortiz on Tammy's side.
Oh, good.
Then-
I'm glad you made it.
Then Geeky Gardens. Walt said he got a DL Evans bank ad. I've seen plenty of those on just regular YouTube lately for some reason.
Tammy, your thumb is sticking up on your collar, and you keep getting your own thumbs up.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to read the comments. I can't see the comments, so I'm scrolling them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Magic Acres hit, your side there. So I said Geeky Gardens, yeah. Diana 2 is on both sides, and Sandra Volmar is on your side, Tammy.
Thank you.
And we're caught up. And now that, all right, was weird. The counter up in the corner where it has, the time and stuff, got up to 18. And with 20 seconds left to go on the counter, it started to go down. And it got down to 8, and they started going back up again. I think that was the
That's the time shift dilation. That's
the
going
trolls.
on.
No, that's I think that was the trolls coming in, and it's like, oh crap, we're not gonna be able to get in on this one. So they all started bailing out again, and then the real people started coming back in. So I have absolutely no pictures for tonight other than the thumbnail. I am the toad on the log going ribbit, ribbit, ribbit.
That's all right. I'm kind of there too because I've never canned mushrooms.
I'll
I'll freeze dry them and dehydrate them all day long. Never, because my wife doesn't like mushrooms unless they're powdered or diced super tiny where she can't. The texture.
Married a smart woman.
Whatever.
Well,
I used to hate mushrooms.
Mushrooms are super, super healthy. They're high in B vitamins. So if you have like that twitch in your eye, you're low in B vitamins, try some mushrooms and, seek your regular mental, physical doctor's advice. But they're also great for your brain. So I have a lot of ways that I try to get mushrooms into my diet. I do love to forage for wild mushrooms. I've never had, you haven't had, oh, see, those little button mushrooms that they grow on manure and sell in the grocery store are just so bland and have very little flavor. I grow shiitakes. I grow blue oyster mushrooms. I've grown pink oyster mushrooms. I've done them on logs. I've done that little kit you buy at the grocery store. My favorite is king oyster. I also have done the wine cap in my garden in the shade. They did not take. It's the only one I've failed at growing. I've transplanted morels and it stayed alive, which I'm pretty proud of. I've done the morel slurry to try to culture them into my yard. And I go out and I hunt. I wouldn't can morels because that's sort of sacrilege in my family. I have canned them just to see that I could do it. But that would not be the way I would prefer to have my morels. If I'm going to do like a morel, I am going to soak it 24 hours in salt water, like I always do, to get the bugs out so that I can eat it. Then I'm going to pat it completely dry on a paper towel or a cloth towel. And when it's completely dry or almost completely dry, I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag with flour, shake it. I'm going to lay them on a baking pan and I'm going to freeze them individually and then put them back into a Ziploc bag. And I have kept them for 2 years coated with flour in my freezer and done very well. You don't thaw them before you fry them. You just fry them right from
Never heard of putting flour. I've never heard of that technique ever.
Well, that's how we fry them in flour. We coat them in flour and fry them just like you would like chicken fried steak.
Oh yeah, no, I've had fried mushrooms. I love fried mushrooms.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of what you did. Soak them. I mean, to get the bugs out. Sure, there's really. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple bugs in there, little itty bitty micro bugs. And
there's a lot of bugs in morels.
Yeah, but you get them out and then you flour them and freeze. I've never heard of freezing them with flour on them. I guess that's just so you could just toss them in the pan and
so
shallow
you throw them
fry
right in the pan. They're ready to fry. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And I've kept them in my freezer for 2 years with no ill effects from that. Beefsteaks the same way. I don't recommend canning beefsteaks because beefsteaks can be toxic if you get the wrong one. Always, I do want to do a disclaimer on this. Always know what you're harvesting. So when I'm throwing these out there, if you have not had hands-on experience with these mushrooms and you do not know, buy them from a certified person. In Michigan, you can get your certification to be a wild forager to sell them. You cannot sell wild mushrooms without a certification. So it's very easy. It's a class and a test. Very easy. So
it's easy to get a certification, not easy to pick the right ones.
The certification means you are trained to pick the right ones.
Okay.
So
yeah.
You have to be able to identify them and you have to be able to describe them in detail.
I have one of my chef friends who he does mushrooms. Mm-hmm. He's the one I send pictures to, the puffballs. It may not be a black walnut. I'm thinking more about it. I'm like, it's probably a poplar because I have lots of poplars in my.
Oh, that would be a good one. Then it would not be bad. Just black walnut. Yeah. You don't harvest anything off black walnut.
No.
Because of the jujugans
cutting in there. Black walnut sawdust is not good for you because there's all kinds of
jujugans is the toxic component of black walnut, and it can any mushrooms growing on that kind of wood will absorb the toxins from the jujugan, even if they are edible mushrooms. You would not eat them off of black walnut. Wild chanterelles. Ooh, I do not have a lot of experience with wild chanterelles. I have bought them at the farmer's market from a certified person. We're lucky. We have 2 places here that grow a lot of these wild mushrooms for us. And so I go to the farmer's market and I buy them. But yes, I would do the same thing with the chanterelles that I do with the morels but you could, if you don't want to dry them, which chanterelles dry beautifully, then you could can them. And I'm going to tell you how to can it here at the end of my little spiel.
Yeah, and once the bugs get canned, they're just little protein bits, so you're good.
That's why you soak them for 24 hours in a heavily salted water. The bugs do not like the salted water. They come out looking for air and to get away from the salt that's killing them, and they float to the top, and then they're gone.
I think Gil has a question. He's chomping at the bit there.
Okay, I lost my train of
Just a
thought.
quick question. Your channel, do you have what does your membership start at?
99 cents.
Okay, then I'll put this one because what we both of our channels start at 99 cents a month.
Yes. Yep. 99 cents. You know, the second tier you get a little bit, and then there's a tier if you want to pay me $20, I will do a one-on-one consult with you. And that's the third tier, gets you a one-on-one consult for any canning project you want.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't limit that to like an hour or anything like that. It's just kind of, you know, we'll work it out. So know your source, know your mushrooms. There are a few I wouldn't can just because the texture I think would be really bad. I wouldn't can chicken of the woods because I think they would get very leathery and chewy in canning. But if you cut them up small enough, it might be okay. I just haven't experimented with that one. Oh, that's what I was doing. I have canned morels. I have canned oyster mushrooms that I've grown myself. That's about it for canning them. I did take a class with the vice president of the Michigan Mycology Society. I also advise anybody who is foraging for mushrooms to get with a group like that does outings and takes you and gets you some hands-on experience. I had only ever foraged spring mushrooms, the morels and the beefsteaks. And through that class, I now foraged lobster mushrooms. I've foraged my own reishi. I've foraged black chanterelle with them. And there was like a whole, and some bolete that were edible. And then the chicken of the woods I got when I went on that 10 pounds a month. Oh, that's wonderful. That would be great. That would be really fun. 10 pounds of wild chanterelles. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Camel and Bose came in on your side and they're watching the ad there for you.
Thank you. So we're going to go through the basic steps of canning mushrooms. You need 4.5 pounds roughly to do 9 pints, which is a canner load. 14.5 pounds to do 9 pints. You need 7.5 pounds to do 9 half pints, which is kind of a canner load. So roughly it's 2 pounds per pint. And that's because they shrink so much after you start cooking them. So usually that pint to pound thing, the world around works, but not for mushrooms. It's more like 2 pounds per pint. So you're going to do a 10-minute soak with them. You want to remove any dirt that you can, any visible dirt at that time. You're going to wash them in clean water. And then you're going to put them in another batch of clean water. Takes a lot of water to do mushrooms. And you're going to boil them for 5 minutes. You're going to drain off that water, fill your jars to a 1-inch headspace, and then put fresh, hot, new water on top of them. In each pint, you want a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 of a teaspoon of ascorbic acid or a 500 milligram vitamin C tablet in each pint. If you're doing half pints, cut that in half. And then you're going to PC them in your pressure canner. Shouldn't say the abbreviations. Pressure can them for 45 minutes. I do 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. You can do more. So there's some reasons why we do so much fresh water. If it is a mushroom that is toxic before you cook it, which a lot of mushrooms can make people sick if they eat them raw, even if they're edible mushrooms. So you want to make sure that you're cooking your mushrooms really good and that you're getting rid of that water you're cooking them in, so you're not reintroducing that into your canning jar. All right. So that's why there's 3 different steps or 4 different steps of fresh water when you're doing this. Again, if you want, you can, it says to boil, the instructions from the National Center for Home Preservation is for store-bought mushrooms. Nothing anywhere says that you should can wild mushrooms. So if you're doing this, you're a rebel and it's your kitchen, your rules. So you need to be sure of what you're canning and 100% certain, you know, that's on you. Okay. I'm just telling you how to do it. I'm not telling you you should do it. Okay. This is just for educational purposes. So you want to boil it at least 5 minutes. If you have bigger chunks, you may need to boil that longer to make sure it's cooked. Okay. So they need to be cooked because again, you want to get the water you're cooking them in gone. Even with the ones that are store-bought. All right. So I have figured out that I can a pint of those white button mushrooms from the grocery store for less than I can buy a quarter pint at the same grocery store. So we love having mushrooms on pizza. I will find them on sale. I'll buy as many as I can, chop them up, or maybe sometimes I get them all chopped up in slices on sale, and then I will can them, and I can really save money. This is one recipe, and I've done a video on how to do it. Check that video out if you want to see the hands on doing it. But I can really save money when I can mushrooms. Canning mushrooms isn't my preferred way to do it though. My preferred way to do it is to bring them home, dehydrate them, make them into mushroom powder, and then use that mushroom powder from my dehydrated mushrooms to cook with and can with. That's my preferred thing. And I'm really into making 2-part tinctures, and I'm going to have a video coming out soon. So a lot of the mushrooms that are healthy for you, but you're not necessarily tasty. So mushrooms that I harvest, that I didn't put on that list, that I harvest not to eat, but to use in a medicinal tincture is turkey tail, reishi, lion's mane. Because I mean, you can eat lion's mane, but it is not the best tasting thing, you know. Those I all put with some mushrooms that I buy, already dehydrated. I should go grab that. And I make a 2-step tincture. Yeah, half pints are the same time. Still 45 minutes for half pints, Penny. Half pints or pints. Either way, 45 minutes. So I do a 2-part tincture where you first do it, where you cook them in water and extract there's 2 kinds of healthy things in mushrooms. One part is water soluble. The other part is extracted with alcohol. And so I do a 2-part extraction where I first extract it with water, and then I take it and strain them, put them in alcohol, and extract the rest of the healthy properties with the alcohol extraction. And then I put those 2 parts back together and make a tincture. So that's about all I have. But I go through a ton of mushroom powder. I use that like a seasoning, and I add it to my gravy mix and make a mushroom gravy mix powder. So
I have to sneak it in.
I sneak it
in food, and the wife knows it sort of because it gives that umami flavor, but too much of it, she's like, it tastes like dirt. I'm like, okay, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, and it depends on what you're putting in there too. Because I mean, like, I will sneak quite a bit in. You know, I go to the farmer's market and I buy all sorts of weird mushrooms there, and then I bring them home. And if we don't fry them up and eat them, I will dehydrate them and they go into mushroom powder.
So,
It
so my
is fun to pick.
my
On
property probably
that-
has like 5 different, we'll call them zones in 14 acres. I mean, I got next to the stream where it's sort of dry and humid. I got next to the stream where it's like a swamp. I got in between. I got under pine trees. I have lots of other types of trees, and I got the field. And yeah, I mean, this summer, spring, whatever. There's different seasons for all different mushrooms, but I start seeing them pop up. But I just want to walk around, see what's there, take lots of pictures, maybe pick some, put them in a baggie, and bring them to my buddy and let him see everything on it, and let him decide whether it's good or not. But have anybody heard of that? I do. I subscribe to another channel. I know, Gil. It's sad. I know. It's a place in Pennsylvania. It's called North Spore.
Yes, North Spore is fabulous.
Yeah.
North Spore and Fungi Perfecti out of Oregon. Both of those are great sources I buy my plugs from them to do my logs.
Right. I'm gonna post the North Spore, just their main channel
Yeah.
link. Is that okay, Gil?
Sure.
They have a catalog you can order from them.
What was that? What was that one in Oregon?
Fungi Perfecti.
So Penny's in Oregon, so she
Yep,
might want
Fungi
to check them out.
Perfecti would be is a great, and just reading their catalog is so educational. Yeah.
If
Okay,
I
I have
can't
a
figure
que-
out mushrooms on my property, I've toyed with buying their pre-spored buckets, whatever, the box with the bag in it, where you poke the holes in it and water it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you can use your pressure canner to actually culture mushrooms. So you can take and okay. So all right. You can take your pressure canner and you use it to sterilize your medium right in canning jars.
for
And then
mushrooms,
you inoculate with store-bought mushrooms, you can inoculate that medium, which is usually a sawdust and straw mixture. And you
Right.
the videos are out there. So you inoculate that. And then when you get your buckets all made, you take that inoculated stuff you've been growing and you put it in to your buckets with the same sterilized media. You can sterilize it with boiling water for that part of it, the bucket part.
right?
You put the medium in, and you can buy little syringes of different spores, of different media to inject into your canning jar stuff, so that you're getting
You
fewer.
actually, the spores of the mushrooms are in the medium when you sterilize it. Doesn't that kill the mushroom spores?
No. You inject it in. You can get a lid that you can inject in a syringe in that reseals after you pull it back out, just like an IV.
So you lost me. So I have a jar. I get my sawdust straw mix. I put it in the jar. I cap it, throw it in the pressure canner to sterilize it. Then I would take it out, let it cool down. Then I inoculate it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I was
Yes.
like, I inoculate it
No.
when I put it in the canner. That's weird,
No,
but okay.
they have like little things you can poke the hole into. You use old lids, poke the hole into those old useless lids from that company that starts with a B. Stick it in there, and then it has like a little rubber seal that you can put on there, and then you inoculate it with your spore, and then that's all sterile. So you're not getting any airborne fungus. Is in the air.
Yeah.
You're not getting any airborne spores, getting something else to grow in there until your preferred mushroom has, and you can see it'll have like little white spider webs all over.
Mycelium.
Mycelium. Yes, thank you. So your mycelium is all impregnated that media, and then you can put it into a bigger thing, but you can grow several things. You could also use agar and sterilize agar. And again, your pressure canner is actually a pressure sterilizer. And again, so you
One
can
question-
use that.
One question, jumping back a ways. You said about if you don't eat it all that night or something, and you're going to dehydrate the next day.
Mhm.
That's already been done through the salt water and stuff like that, or whatever it
Yes,
is.
yeah. So I can just dehydrate it. Yep.
So that's gotten all the toxins out and everything else out before you dehydrate it.
when you dehydrate it, the heat from that is cooking it, and so it's not the same as like, and then you're gonna cook it later again. So you're cooking it twice. So they're the same. You don't want you're not getting the toxins. Most of the time you're dehydrating fresh mushrooms, but yeah, there's not the
Okay.
same problem with eating dehydrated ones as there are with eating that comes with eating raw. And if you're taking that raw stuff and putting it back into your jar, you're keeping the toxins in the jar.
Okay, then on that same thing, the question here that someone had was, so what do you use canning, the powder and canning for?
It goes in all of my beef recipes. Anything that I want beef gravy or I'm canning beef. So I will throw mushroom powder in my beef stroganoff my beef tips I'm canning for beef stroganoff. I will throw mushroom powder in my beef roast. I will throw mushroom powder in my beef stock and make it mushroom stock.
I throw mushroom powder in my meat sauce when I make meat sauce.
Yeah.
Even marinara
Yeah.
sauce, I throw it in there. I don't can it. I just throw it in when I'm cooking it. And eat it.
Anything I want, and you use the word udami, but I just say anything else I want to taste more meaty.
Yeah.
So if I want it to taste really beefy and meaty, I will add mushroom powder to that recipe.
Cool.
I'm going to go grab, I have some examples. I'm going to go grab them. Hang on, hold the fort for a second.
Okay. And I'm looking up that video that she's mentioned on her channel right now to see if I can find it. All right. She's got two. She's got two. Oh, okay. She's got two videos over there. 3. Okay. So Tammy has on her channel, one is called Lion's Mane Tincture. And that was about a year ago. She posted that one. Also about a year ago was pheasant back mushrooms. And then there was fungus marinated mushroom canning for quick antipesto.
Oh, that one's really good.
Then there was the fall mushroom identification class on her channel as well. So there's more than just one, so there's at least four that I see here right off the bat. And all I did was put Rebel Canners mushrooms in the YouTube search bar, and those 4 came up.
The other thing I do is I buy the number 10 cans of the button mushrooms and I recan those because it's really cheap to recan them. I do them into half pints and I use those for mushroom toppings too because that's really cheap. But here is dehydrated. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, turkey tail.
Dehydrated turkey tail. This is what lion's mane looks when it's dehydrated. Maitake. It's like shiitake, but it's maitake. They're closely related. This one is really good for brain health. It's cordyceps.
You pick those wild yourself?
Some of them, but not all of them. This is chaga. It's also very good for brain health. This is one I may have harvested myself and ground up.
Chaga's from that's like a growth on a birch tree, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Here's some shiitakes. And this is reishi. This is not the reishi I collected, though. It's another one I got from somebody else. But all of these are going into a 7 mushroom tincture.
Cool. So to be clear on my side, freeze drying mushrooms and dehydrating mushrooms are 2 completely different things.
Yes.
Dehydrating uses heat and air from your environment to blow across it to draw the moisture out and dry them out. And the heat and air, what's the temperature on mushrooms to dehydrate? It's like 145 or something. And technically it sort of cooks them with the hot air. A freeze dryer, no, it goes raw into the freeze dryer and it literally just takes the moisture out. That's all it does. The heat, yeah, there is some heat involved, like about 125 degrees during the drying process, but they're drying out quickly, so they're not really cooking. So I'm thinking back now, maybe, I mean, I freeze dried a whole bunch of mushrooms from the store.
Button
Not
mushrooms,
the
the
white-
white button.
No, not the white
shiitakes,
ones.
the
Yeah,
brown,
yeah,
browns
the brown
and
ones.
shiitake.
yeah. So I did a bunch of those and turned them into powder, and they're in bags
Yeah.
still. So, but now it's a matter of, okay, yeah, they were raw mushrooms. You can eat them raw. And I didn't soak them and do all that stuff. But
Actually,
I'm sure.
shiitake, you're not really supposed to eat raw. Yeah, though
Okay.
they do that.
Well, I wouldn't eat the powder raw anyway. I throw it in food. You know,
Yeah.
I throw it in hot stuff to cook it and add it.
I do have a list of some of the health benefits. I'm going to go over it. Again, I am not licensed to tell you any of this in any way, shape, or form. My medical license doesn't cover this. So use your own judgment and do your own research. Don't believe anything I say.
And
But
go to a class. Go to a class.
But I have been told, this is the class I went to, this is what I was given. Lion's mane supports cognitive function, impacts learning, helps repair nerve damage, reduces anxiety and depression. Reishi is recommended by this lady for sleep disorders, anxiety, depression, inflammation, liver disease, tumor growth, including the word I don't want to say here that is associated with said tumors, and allergies. Chaga, that is the beauty and longevity mushroom. Slows the aging process, possibly. I don't know, hasn't worked for me yet. Lowers blood sugar and cholesterol, prevents and fights the big CA, boosts immunity. Turkey tail is good for gut health, liver health, and your immune system. Also fights that thing I trying not to say. And supposedly, and this has not worked with me either, improves athletic performance. That's not working for me, but okay. Like I said, these are only purported, and I can't even give you personal experience for some of this. Coreopsis, endurance, stamina. Another word I'm not going to say, health. Kidney health, neuroprotective, anti-aging, helps with diabetes, inflammation, asthma. Maitake improves your cholesterol and artery functionality, and overall, supposedly, possibly, I don't know, purported improves cardiovascular health. Shiitake aids in weight loss. Yeah, that ain't happening here either, okay? Improves energy levels, fights the CA thing, and promotes skin health. So that's just what was written down from the class I took. I don't know. You would have to do your own research on that.
I think there are lots of studies that have been done by
Yes.
people in the medical field and CDC and stuff, but they don't post it. It's maybe not the CDC, but
No.
it's been posted to like medical
Dietary. I
journals.
think
and that.
dietary experts would be, a great place to look that up
Right.
if you wanted to.
I know medical journals do
check the validity.
post stuff like that,
Yeah.
but it's in a journal. It's not like law, but it's been looked at by multiple scientists and peer reviewed and all that stuff.
And just to take a preemptive strike here for the platform, we are not disagreeing with anything the WHO says.
No,
So if the WHO says differently, do your own research.
do your own research. I cannot, again, my personal experience does not collaborate with all of these claims that were made by my teacher. Okay? Enough said. I can't collaborate. I'm still overweight and I ate those shiitakes very well last year often. But you can do a dual extraction to make a tincture. And I know you said 145 degrees, but if you're doing a water extraction to get the health benefits from the mushrooms, you would want to do that at 160 degrees.
Oh no,
For
the
at least 4
145
hours.
was in a dehydrator. I'm just guessing at the temperature.
Yeah, 160 for 4 hours is what you need if you're gonna boil them to get the health benefits out of the mushroom into the broth. You can make mushroom broth by saving all your stems. So if you're eating a lot of mushrooms and you cut the stems off for your cooking, you can put all of those stems in a bag, throw it in the freezer, and then you can make mushroom broth the same way you would make any vegetable or meat broth. And I have done that before, and I have canned it, and I do have a video also on making mushroom broth, which is really, really good when you add it to things like you would add cream of soup.
Yeah.
But I don't do a cream one. I just do a straight mushroom broth, and it's actually really good in a barley soup if you want to make it vegan or vegetarian.
You can can mushroom soup. You just can't can the cream part of it. You add that when you make it. Yeah. That's been a long-standing topic.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in another video. I'm working on
cream of mushroom soup.
cracking that code. But I do a cream of anything soup, instant soup powder. Right. And I do add my powdered and dehydrated pieces of mushrooms in that. Just like I did the potato soup jar, instant potato soup the other day. I have a cream of anything soup that I can use instead of using a jar that's bought from the store, because I know what's in mine, and it's not a lot of those things that you read on the back of some of those jars.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm really trying to get corn out of my diet. So anything with corn syrup or corn starch, I'm trying to avoid.
What about corn?
I don't eat corn either. I don't eat canned corn. I only eat sweet corn because
fresh. Yeah, okay. So you eat I like corn on the cob, fresh corn, not canned corn is okay, but whatever.
I love corn. Don't get me wrong. I love corn. I just don't want my corn sprayed with any popular herbicide that I find offensive. And so I have to just settle for sweet corn.
So offline beforehand, you were talking about raising your own to eat and can.
Yes.
And you said you don't like it done in manure. You prefer.
I don't like the white button mushrooms. I'm trying to clean them, and first of all, they're compared to the other mushrooms, they're tasteless, and then you can't get the manure off of them when you're trying to wash them to eat them. So I prefer like mushrooms that are growing on a sawdust or a straw medium, because they come off cleaner. Like when you buy mushrooms that have been grown on sawdust or straw, they're very clean. Even if you go pick your own chanterelles or morels,
yeah, they're clean.
They're very clean compared to the mushrooms you buy at the store in the little black box with the plastic wrapper on it, fresh.
Okay. All right. So, and then I'm trying to remember what because it's been a couple of years when Uncle Al was up here. He was one of those lives we were doing. He was talking about, the different kits and stuff, and how you can just bypass it. You get yourself a certain. He had a very specific type of wood that he preferred, and he grows mushrooms. Mm-hmm. And he goes and he just drilled holes.
Yeah, oak is best, I think, for shiitakes, or not shiitakes.
I prefer oak or maple. You really want a hardwood. Maple's kind of a softwood, but you really want a hardwood. No, you don't want a pine or
black walnut.
Even though it's a hardwood. There are woods you don't want, and that's one you don't want because of the jujugans in the black walnut are toxic, and they are taken up in the mushroom. So you really do have to, even if the mushroom is edible, you have to know what wood it's growing on that could make it inedible.
Right.
Yes, you should always wash the store-bought mushrooms with clean water, because a lot of them were grown on manure. I know the white button ones are grown on manure. I'm not sure how they grow the portobellos.
Yeah, portobello is probably the same, because I can buy mushroom compost from one of my local farms around here by the bucket load. And I did that a couple of years ago. Of course,
That's
it was
great
still
for the
hot
garden.
when I got it. Fortunately, I put it on my garden in like February, and I just let it sit on top, and it finished doing its thing. And I got lots of good yield out of that.
Yeah.
So as a safety thing here, I'm going to try to do it right. So if you, I've heard that some mushroom places use horse manure
Mhm.
and some use cow manure. But however, if either one of them are eating certain things like alfalfa and other stuff like that, unless it comes from a certified.
Again, yes.
Yeah. They're eating stuff that may have other contaminants on it, and they're passing it, and now it's in the manure, and now it's growing.
Those do get absorbed. What is in the environment does get absorbed into the fungus. Fungus are actually really good at cleaning up our environment. So you really have to be careful where you harvest them from and make sure that where you're harvesting from is a safe place, because they are part of the cleanup crew in our environment. They will pick up all of those toxins and try to clean it up.
Yeah, it's part of the biome. I mean, there's mycelium growing. You you walk in the woods and there's just like wet leaves laying there and they dry off a little bit. And if you just lift up and pull back and look, you get those little micro white strings everywhere. You may not have mushrooms, but it's still doing its job.
Yeah.
And I also did a video on ghost pipe tincture. They're not actually technically mushrooms, although they are a symbiote. It is a plant that does not have chlorophyll, that is a symbiote with a fungi. So technically it's not really a straight fungi. And I do a tincture video on that. Again, those are not necessarily edible mushrooms, but they are definitely medicinal. Now, I have chewed it raw for my toothache. I wouldn't recommend that because it's quite potent, but you can, there are some you can eat raw, but if you don't know that, you don't want to be out there doing it. Yeah, if you forage for mushrooms in cow patties, you may wind up. The ones that you buy at the store or that comes in a can of cream soup from the store, those are grown in caves. Those are grown underground and they don't see the light of day. That's why they're really pretty and white. And like some of the portobellos are brown because they got, just a second, Mark. The portobellos are brown because they've got exposed to sunlight. That's what I want to say. So go ahead and say what you want to say, Mark. And then I have a tip for how to make your mushrooms more nutritious. Go ahead.
Oh, no. A lot of the mushroom farms are not caves. They're just climate controlled stone environments that are dark.
Now, when you are ready to eat your mushrooms or about ready to eat your mushrooms, when you take them home and you store them in the refrigerator, you are not doing yourself a service. So before you prepare them to eat, however you're going to prepare to eat, make sure that they are exposed for 1 hour to the sunlight. So take those store-bought ones out of the refrigerator and put them into direct sun for 1 hour. And I have been told, I have no way of testing this, so I don't know if it's true or not. I have been told that will increase the vitamin E content in those white button mushrooms you buy from the store.
Cool.
So before you prepare them, however you're going to prepare them, it is beneficial to expose them to sunlight for 1 hour to increase their vitamin content. Again, this is something that I have heard in my research. You do your own research.
And just as a side note, those mushrooms that are fed manure and grown in dark places are also called federal employees.
Now.
Hey, I've been there. I've been that.
Yep.
I thought we were going to go back to the psychedelic cow patty ones, and don't be harvesting your mushrooms from cow patties. You could
see dragons.
Yeah. Well, again, that you could wind up,
Cal Berkeley.
Locked up on a 3-day hold. That might not be good. That is not a good time, contrary to whatever you may have been told.
You could be having a flashback to Cheech and Chong's first movie.
Yes.
Shroom, dude.
It's
Shroom.
too bad Cheech and Chong can't have flashbacks to their last movie because they don't remember a thing that happened while they were filming.
Oh,
And I heard that
actually,
I heard that from both of them in an interview once. So I'm only
Yeah,
quoting what they said.
yeah, and that was I just saw a video of an interview, and I think it was
Yeah.
Up in Smoke they were talking about.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
we weren't smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
they said the director yelled roll, and they said we are.
All right. Let me I don't know. Let me look up here real quick.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of them is now gone. This was an old interview that just circulated around
He's
this
gone,
week, and I
he's gone
thought,
to the great bong in the sky.
yeah.
How did we go from mushrooms to Cheech? Oh, I guess that makes sense.
We got to the cow patty ones, and I just wanted to, again.
Not according to this. Tommy Chong is 86 years old, and Cheech Marin is 78 years old.
Yeah, and Chong has his daughter Ray Dawn, and she was in movies for a while.
Yeah.
So see, maybe the longevity is right. I don't know.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked for me yet, but we'll see.
They just can't tell everybody they were flipping cow patties.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh is here on your side.
Hello.
Oh, I missed Aiden here.
Oh, hey, Aiden
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so does anybody have any questions? Like, I know we kind of covered a lot of things, not just canning in this. I think part of it is because, mushrooms aren't, other than doing those water changes, are not a real difficult thing to do. And I certainly, if I had chanterelles, I would certainly, they are a little fragile, but I would certainly can chanterelles. If I had that many I could do, I would definitely do some half pints because that would be so good. So good.
Sure, you can call them magic, wacky, whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many delicious ones. I mean, my son and I went through like the whole list of at the farmer's market. We did lion's mane, we did blue, I've done blue oyster, we did pink oyster, we did plain oyster, white oyster ones. The king oyster are definitely the ones. I am allergic to seafood. I can't eat lobster and any kind of seafood anymore, scallops. King oyster tastes like scallops.
Huh, cool. Probably why they got their name.
Probably. Kind of looks like a scallop on a big stick. And they're they're nice large mushrooms.
Yeah.
So king oyster, we've done the king oyster and it's like eating scallops, and that gives me a little bit back of what I can't have. So
Now, is there a lookalike that's bad for the king oyster?
no, because these were grown from a culture from Northport. I know where my guy got them from. So they were cultured. So I wouldn't be worried about that. I don't know if you can harvest those. I don't know where in the United States you would be able to harvest those wild. Northport has a huge collection of mushrooms.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to show something here. Okay. So the first one here is your tincture, lion's mane tincture. Then your pheasant back mushroom. Oh, there's the ad for Northspore.
Shocker.
Yeah.
And then you got your one for it's just
That's where I just canned regular mushrooms.
Yeah, for quick antipesto.
Those are marinated mushrooms. Then I should probably change that.
Yeah, it says marinate. Yeah.
Oh, marinated mushrooms canning for quick antipasta.
And then there's the this is what you're talking about, the mushroom class.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've actually taken that class 4 times.
Yeah.
Over 3 years. One year I did it twice because the woman there's so much that she says, and she is getting up there in age, and where she's not going to be here forever. And she has so much knowledge, and I just want to soak up every bit of her knowledge that I can. And so she offers, like one year she did the class 6 times, and I was only able to go to 2 of them. But she does them at different local nature preserves. So every time you attend the class, you're harvesting in the wild from a different place. So that's really important.
Josh has a question here. Yeah. So,
What?
I can't.
So you're
Oh.
eating
so basically, so you say you're scanning deer stew and you find the little something O-ring. Oh, the O-ring for the handle was bad and it never built up pressure. Problem was fixed and then canned for 90 minutes. Will it still be okay?
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah,
because basically,
If you restarted the time, and did
Yeah.
it for 90 minutes after you got up to pressure, you will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if
think
you-
what he
if you-
did is he found it was the O-ring was bad. He took the O-ring off, put a new one on, and kept
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, you gotta, as long as you canned it under pressure for 90 minutes, you will be fine.
Yeah, if you open up your canner and you got like 3 or 4 jars that didn't seal properly, yeah, take the lids off, take the rings off, or take the rings and the lids, clean it back up, put some new rings
go
and
back
lids on there,
one.
throw it back in the canner for 90 minutes. Yeah.
Go back one comment. So when the pilgrims,
Pioneers.
migrants, the people, pioneers, there we go, pioneers. When the pioneers were crossing
The
the
planes.
Midwest and going out to Utah and Oregon on the Oregon Trail, they actually collected buffalo patties and used that to cook with.
Yeah.
Because they're very high in cellulose because they eat plants. And so they do
They're-
make the dried ones, the chips
Yeah.
do make really good fuel.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
use
are
in the
what,
Dakotas.
ruminous? A buffalo or ruminous or whatever,
Yep.
just like cows.
Yep. So that is true. That is very true.
And then Tammy,
Doesn't make your food taste very good though. Just
your opinion is
Well,
a question
I
though.
wouldn't cook raw food over cow patties, but if you're boiling water in a pot, sure, just keep it covered.
I will do a recipe and I will post it tomorrow. I'll type this all out, my notes over here, and I will do a post for you tomorrow.
Community post, right?
Community post. I'll put it on my community tab. I'll post.
Oh, Josh
All
was
right.
talking about it, the Miro canner. He was talking about the canner, not the jars. So yeah, you throw a new seal on it and re-go for 90 minutes. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
If your canner didn't seal and come up to pressure, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah. If it doesn't
Yes.
come up to pressure and you finally got it, you did whatever you needed to do to get it up to pressure. As long as it was up to pressure for 90 minutes, you'll be fine.
Now, Mark, there was a TV show called Matt Houston,
Yeah.
and he was a millionaire cowboy
Uh-huh.
and detective. He was always cooking chili out by the horse corral,
Yeah. probably on-
uncovered pot. He goes, it makes it taste better.
Well, it depends on what fuel you're using, but sure.
See, I am I'm a open fire cooking snob. I will not I will not cook with pine. I do not want to eat pine
Oh,
salt.
no, you
I will
can.
not cook. I will not cook my food with pine.
No.
I have to have oak or maple or something. I mean, well, if I was rich, I'd have all applewood and elder. But
Anything but a conifer. Yeah.
yeah, no conifer. So yeah, and the same thing with those wood chips. They actually said that it made the food taste not well.
Yeah.
You'd want to have your cast iron spider pot with the lid on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said I will not cook with pine. It's what popped in my head was Dr. Seuss. I
Yeah.
will not eat green eggs and ham, and I will not eat them my ham.
Yes.
I will not cook with pine. I will not cook here or there. I will not cook it anywhere.
I mean, I
right,
wouldn't cook like barbecue over pine, but in a pot, that's different.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
But
Cover-
if you're
cover
getting that
pot or
pine
water,
smoke, if the pine smoke can get into the pot you're
Oh,
cooking,
creosote. Yeah.
yeah, it will taste like pine sol.
And you know what?
Hey.
If you're in the New Jersey Pinelands and there's nothing else to cook on and you're hungry, yeah, you're cooking on pine. Sorry.
I get that. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
personally am a wood cook fire snob.
Oh, all my firewood at the cabin is everything but pine.
Yeah, the at scout camp, when we cook, it's tons of pine wood, but it's all right. We have 2 fire pits going. One is to turn the pine into coals. We take the coals that are all nice and they'll start smoking over to the Dutch ovens.
Yes. And I cook over for campers, and I want them to have a really good experience, and I want them to really like the food, and I want them to come back. And so I just won't use the pine. But we have a campfire at night, and you can throw all the pine you want on the campfire at night.
Yeah, sure.
Just
Snap,
and then
crackle,
you make a
pop,
bed of
fire
coals,
everywhere.
it's fine, but not.
And
Not
pine cones make great dry pine cones are great fire starters.
Yes.
I do that. I mean, I literally walk down my little road and pick up like 20 of them, throw them in a bucket.
I threw
And-
one in my car the other day just to have one in my car. I'm gonna make a fire. I'm gonna make some fire starters with it. But it was a
I
really
don't
good
do anything.
example.
I mean, it's just the pine cone itself. I mean, you just hold it upside down, light a match or a lighter, and it starts to burn and crackle. And once it starts to flame up good, yeah, throw it in your fire pit and throw your twigs on there and start your fire. The
If I
pine goes
have
away
any
pretty
old-
quick.
If I have any old candle wax, I will dip them in candle wax and just to give it a little extra boost for my fire
Yeah.
starters. You know.
I think Tammy's
No.
alarm, Tammy's text message just went off. It vibrated.
Timu does not like the fact that I haven't bought anything since I bought that stupid
Red Baron.
no first aid kit, and they're just there's a 1 cent offer, and they just keep sending me messages nonstop all day long.
That's someone else said that's why they don't like Temu, and they
Yeah, I might be tempted to buy something from them if they weren't harassing me constantly. They're worse than my car's extended warranty guy. They miss me.
All right, so are you going to be going live Thursday or not sure?
Don't know.
All right, so keep an eye out just in case if Tammy goes live during the week. For me, tomorrow night on my other channel, Gray Man Prepping, is Tactical Tuesday. We're talking security cameras, what's out there, what's available, ways to do it. So we're talking that tomorrow. Thursday night's the Midnight Ride on Gray Man Prepping, and it's the first day of spring. Woohoo!
When is the first day of spring?
Thursday.
March 21st.
Ooh. All right.
That's Thursday. Friday, back here on Camp Patton Family Compound. The title is Yesterday, First Day of Spring. What's for tomorrow? And so we'll be talking about gardening stuff again and planning stuff ahead. Saturday on Gray Man Prepping is continuing the after the event. And the event we're going to be talking about this time is China's economy collapses. So it's after China's economy collapses, what are your plans? Next Monday we're going into talking about a hazard of canning called what is siphoning?
Okay.
So, and we'll be talking about that stuff too. So, and to answer Mother's Garden Club's question, yes, pine
Creosote.
does creosote. However, a lot of people don't realize there are different types of pine. The good old white hard pine burns totally different than your normal pine tree,
The hybrids.
yeah,
they rebred those over the decades
stuff like that. Yeah,
to grow really fast. That's why 2x4s these days don't weigh much of anything, but a 2x4 from 20 years ago weighs
You couldn't
twice
lift
as
it.
much because the rings are tighter.
Yeah.
All right, and so that's what's coming up here for the next week. So keep an eye out for Tammy going live this week if possible. And hello down there.
What? I go
Okay,
live. I'm a random liver. I
Yeah.
feel like doing something live. Boom, I'm just on, and everybody's like, "Oh crap, Mark's on, really?" All
You
right.
could
whatever.
send some notifications out.
Well, I did. I put out a 30-minute notification on the last one I did, fixing my my little
Yeah.
power inverter.
all right.
I do
so,
have 2 videos scheduled for this week, and I have 2 more I need to film, and none of them are in my usual category. So have fun with that.
All right.
Cool. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I hope you all learned something or a couple somethings tonight. And all right, what's Tammy's channel? Rebel Canners.
And my
So,
Chef Tech 86, but just ignore me. I'm the guy at the bottom of the pile here. I know.
Yeah.
You have to post
Randy,
videos if you want
Randy on my side was asking what your channel is. It's Rebel Canners.
Rubber Canners. And I'm wearing a turquoise top.
And it's also her Facebook page too. Is Rebel Canners, not
The
Rebel
one with the
Can,
black
not Rebel
banner.
Canning.
Welcome
it's
to the
Rebel
dark side.
Canners.
Yeah. And you got to be approved to get in. You don't just wander in.
Yeah, we have to,
I know.
Yeah.
You have to strain out the trolls.
People
All right.
love to troll me. What can I say?
They still
Yeah.
get in there anyway. Yep.
Sometimes
All right,
it's-
everyone. Take care, and we will see. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping for security cameras.
oh, good one.
All right. See y'all later.
Have a good night.